Hi everyone, in today's video I want to show you this really powerful clip in which this preacher completely destroyed the atheist view on ethics and morality. His channel will be linked down below, so please go and check that out. Before I play this clip, I want to please ask you for 3 massive favors. The first one is please like this video, that the YouTube algorithm will push it to more people. The second favor is please comment your thoughts, and let's please keep all discussions civilized, and let's talk in a Christian way, in a loving way, and in a kind way with each other on important topics. And the third thing is, if this channel has blessed you in any way, please consider hitting that subscribe button. So without any further waiting, here is the clip.
Sir, all your biology can tell me is...
I don't believe in objective morality, so I think...
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. So I think that this argument...
You use the word should and ought, don't you?
That doesn't mean that I believe in objective morality.
Well, when you say should and ought, what are you talking about?
That means that I have my own morals that I think people should do and ought to do. That doesn't mean that there's an objective morality that's correct for all people.
Where on earth do you get off saying you should not have done that to me if it's just your personal opinion that you realize is biased, prejudiced, and totally relative? Why on earth would you be so arrogant to tell this guy what he can do and what he can't do?
So, morality to me, all I can speak is for myself, morality to me is based off of the society and the societal pressures to go towards one or another thing. Because there are, I mean, you know, obviously, like, look at Jewish people. I mean, to me, circumcision can be considered immoral. It's genital mutilation. I mean, look at Muslim people. They do that to women. They generally mutilate women in a lot of Muslim countries. So is that objectively good or is that objectively bad? Well, I mean, I think it's wrong because of the society I grew up in.
Okay.
Now, I think most people can agree that's probably wrong, but not all people can. So there can't be an objective moral reasoning there. It's not objective for all people because throughout societies and time, morals have waxed and waned with the society. So I think it's more intelligent to assume that morality comes from the society and societal pressures than being innately human. I mean, if we can even look at Germany during World War II, the amount of people that were pro-Holocaust, that's objectively, I mean, we can assume that's objectively wrong for most people, but objectivity means for all people, right? So we can play with that word and say for most people and use it as a for most people kind of argument, but really it's entirely subjective because it depends on the society.
Okay. Nuremberg trials. You brought up Nazi Germany, so let's talk about it. Nuremberg trials.
I mean, are you going to address what I just said about the objective?
Can you let me finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Nuremberg trials, 1945 to 1949. The Nazi lawyers were brilliant. They stood before the Allied judges and said, I hope you realize that these Nazi officers were commanded to gas Jews into Dachau and Auschwitz. Their culture, their superiors, taught them that gassing Jews into Dachau and Auschwitz was good. Where do you guys get off coming from a different culture judging these Nazi officers? And the Nuremberg trials shut down until Robert Jackson, the American counsel, stood up and said, wait a second, there is a law above the law of culture, and according to this moral law, it is evil to gas Jews into Dachau and Auschwitz. The Nuremberg trials kicked into gear again. Why? Because there was an acknowledgement that morality is not defined by culture. Because if it's true what you say, that morality is defined by culture, the Nazis were just following their culture. And there's nothing wrong with gassing Jews if your culture tells you to gas Jews. Baloney to that. You and I have consciences and rational minds, and we understand that just because a culture teaches something is good does not make it good. That is why I'm telling you, the evidence of the way you live your life, the way the judges of the Nazis in the Nuremberg trials lived their lives, is that there's got to be some type of objective morality that we are able to understand with our consciences and our rational minds. And guess what? If that's true, there's got to be some type of mind, maybe minds, as you pointed out very accurately, some type of mind or minds pre-existent to human minds that defines what is right and what is wrong. Does that make any sense?
No, I get what you're saying. I think that's more due, why they did that is more due to the fact that it's what brings about the most good for the most amount of people possible. So I mean, if we're talking about that being objective morality, if that's like the basis of what you consider objective morality, that's how you're going to define it, as what brings about the most amount of good for as many people as possible. I mean, I still think as a society, as a human society, we have things and different sects in our society that agree with different things that others would find immoral that we don't stop. There are things across the globe that we don't stop that most people in the United States or in other parts of the established world would find as immoral, but we don't stop it. But it's because they don't find it immoral. That's what I'm saying, is if there's other people that don't find it immoral because of how they were brought up and how they were raised in the society that they were raised in, even if it's something small, if we can't all agree on the same morals objectively, then there's no such thing as objective morality in total. If we can't all agree on every single moral, and we can't all share the same objective morality for all people, then how can you argue that there's an objective morality?
Very, very simply. The professor who said to me, the only way that I can know something historically is if everybody agrees that this happened. And I had to look at that professor and say, you are so intellectually naive, it's scary. Just because someone denies that slavery happened in the United States does not mean that in reality slavery did not happen in the United States. And if you think that I got to get 100% agreement that slavery really did happen in the United States in order to believe that slavery happened, that is such a blind spot, it's incredible. Similarly, to say that racism is wrong only if everybody agrees that racism is wrong is so blind, it's scary. I better have the conscience and the intellectual wherewithal to realize that because God created her and him in his image, therefore racism is wrong.
No, so what
I'm not in touch with reality.
No, so what I'm saying is there are definitely things that are more good or more bad for society. There's such a thing as, that not having slavery is objectively the most good for as many people as possible. That one thing. But how can you argue that humans have objective morality or a gifted objective morality by a creator that created all humans? How can you argue that if all humans don't share the same morality?
Because we have a free will. And at times I know what's good. And instead of doing what I know is good, I do the opposite. Sir, that's why I experience guilt. I know what's right very often. And instead of doing what I know is right, I do the opposite. And guess what? Part of the reason I feel so comfortable sharing that is, you're no different from me. At times your conscience tells you that is good, and instead of doing that, you do the opposite. And then by golly, you experience guilt. Bravo. Now allow your guilt to wake you up to the fact that you know very well what's good at times, and you choose to do the opposite. Therefore, you have to answer to somebody. You answer to God. Therefore, ask him for forgiveness. Ask Christ for forgiveness for the wrong that you've done. And don't just blame somebody else or rationalize your guilt away.
Nobody's saying that you blame somebody else. You obviously don't.
We do it all the time.
Yeah,
we blame other people all the time as a human race.
People definitely do, but that doesn't mean that there's a God that you can
No,
forgive.
It means that there are real values that I understand, be I atheist, agnostic, Christian, Buddhist, whatever. And I violate my conscience by doing that which I know is wrong. It happens every day to every single one of us.
But there aren't real values. There aren't values. There are values that are best for as many people as possible. That's what I've said.
Fine. So I smack her in the face. You ask me, hey, Cliff, why'd I do that? And I say, because I felt like it.
That's what I'm saying. That would bring about the exact opposite of the most good for as many people as possible.
According to your definition. I hope you're not naive enough to think that Adolf Hitler did not know exactly what would bring Nazi Germany the most good. It was getting that economics machine back into gear because the Germans were suffering from poverty. And so Adolf Hitler had a very shrewd way of getting the Nazi economy back into gear. And guess what? It was evil. Totally evil. But if you're telling me that, no, Cliff, good and evil are really defined by culture, by a nation, then what he did was not evil. It was just a way to kick the German economy back into gear.
Okay, so what Nazi Germany did I mean, you just said it was evil, so that definitely does not bring about the most amount of good for as many people as possible. I feel like I have to repeat myself 7 times.
Well, I gotta feel like I gotta straighten you out, sir. You honestly think that the Nazis thought that gassing Jews was bad for Germany?
You gonna beat him up?
I'm not gonna beat him up. He's a great thinker, okay? And I appreciate him so much thinking, okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
All right? But his thinking is so, it's scary.